Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So today we get to take a look at the 2023 Ford F250. This is a 4x4 Crew Cab XLT. It also has the addition of the Tremor package. It's finished off in a Gate Black, and the MSRP is just over $70,000. So if you want more of a basic style work truck, but you also want a lot of tech and features, this is a great model to go with. And this specific truck also has Ford's Godzilla engine. This is the naturally aspirated 7.3 liter V8 paired to a 10-speed automatic transmission. It pumps out 430 horsepower, 485 pound-feet of torque, primarily sent to those rear wheels. However, it does have the four-wheel drive system like I mentioned. Weighs in right around 7,200 pounds, and this particular model also has the 34-gallon fuel tank. Now, as we work our way to the exterior styling, let's start off with the new headlight design from Ford. So it provides it with the DRL that has a C-shaped design running around the headlights, high beams, and turn signal, with parts of that grille going side to side, nicely integrated into those housings themselves. Now, the Ford badge is front and center with a forward-facing camera, and then there's plenty of cutouts in that grille to provide a lot of cooling. There's also an inlet just behind this front license plate tag to direct airflow. There's fog lights down below along with two tow hooks, and the Tremor package also provides it with skid plates up underneath. Now for the hood, Super Duty is stamped right at the base of it, and then we have some nice lines coming down both sides. This is a massive truck. It has a big presence to it, but everything flows nicely and has good proportions for it. Now, with the Tremor package as well, it upgrades it to 35-inch tires with these 18-inch wheels with the two-tone design. There's the F250 badge just behind that. And then we do have the power folding mirrors along with having them telescope. So they will extend for towing purposes. We have a spotlight camera or spotlight turn signal and a camera as well. And then this even has the steel side steps. So it makes it much easier to enter and exit, of course. You might be able to use those as a slider if you need to off-road, but it's mainly to enter and exit this massive truck. Now we have to take a step back in order to see just how large this truck is. We do have the longer bed, so it's just under 8 feet, and we have a bed step at the front of it. So that way you can gain access to any items that you have in the front, and then we have a step in that rear bumper, so that way you can do the same in the back. Now, as we work our way to the rear, Super Duty is stamped right in the tailgate. We have a spotlight along with a camera, LED taillights. All of the sensors are in that body colored bumper. This can even tow right around 19,000 pounds. With the Tremor package, it upgrades the payload to just over 4,000 pounds. And then this does have remote start, so let's take a listen. You can remote shut it off as well, and then you can use the key fob to deploy that tailgate. You have the button by the backup camera, of course, if you need to use that. Now, no spray and bed liner for this model, but as you can tell, with 8 feet of space, you can fit a lot of items. There's cargo lights, as well as some areas where you can attach tie downs. There's also a ruler at the base of the tailgate, and we do have that Ford step. So, especially with this F250 being a little bit taller, at 5'10", this is an easy step for me to gain access to whatever items I have. You'll notice too that we do have the area where you could place that fifth wheel gooseneck if you needed those higher towing capabilities. And then it's super easy to fold everything up and close that tailgate back up. Now, as we work our way to the interior, like I've mentioned, this is an XLT. So it does have a little bit more of the basic interior. However, with the XLT, you do get the Bang & Olufsen sound system. There's some leather on the door too, and plenty of storage. So it's a combination between being more basic and still having some of those functions and features that you want. Now, these cloth seats have a two-tone design to them. You can also flip up these seats too. So we have the area underneath that for storage. You can fold that down too if you need a lot more interior space. There's a grab handle in all four corners, so it's easy to get in here. And we have a lot of space. There's storage pockets, we have vents, we have areas you can place drinks along with auxiliaries. And it's what you would expect for a full-size Super Duty. I have 4 or 5 inches above my head too. So there's definitely a lot of space for anyone in the back. Now this also has the keypad, and then you can lock and unlock it using the door handle. Door panel up front is just like the rear, a lot more storage down below. And then we have that telescoping control for those side mirrors. There's all the window adjustments, power folding controls too. And then we do have a combination of automatic seats and manual seats. And it's just as easy to get into these front seats where we can fire it back up. We have the steering wheel with some nice trim accents in that lower section. There's volume and Bluetooth controls, as well as your lane keeping assist and cruise control. Right side gives you tuning, some more Bluetooth, and then you can even go through some info in the digital gauge cluster. So the tach's on the left side, right side gives you miles per hour, and then you can go through all of this in your main menu. You can get into towing. There's also off-road. So if you do take this off-road, you can monitor all of this information here. And then you have some gauges that you can look at, just some vitals to monitor, and then even my view. This is customizable, so all this information you can add or take away depending on what you use the most. This is basically your favorites for this main screen. So a good bit of info that you can scroll through. And then over on the left side, there's the e-brake along with the headlight and fog light adjustments. There's the cargo light in the bed there. We have some dimmer switches. You can deploy the tailgate. And then we have spotlights for those side view mirrors. A little bit of space up top. And then with the massive infotainment system, we do have a shortcut to the camera system. So you can quickly pull all of these angles up, just depending on what you'd like to see. We even have the side mirrors there if you're towing to give you much more visibility. Now there's the hazards, traction control, and off-road setting too. And then to get back into that backup camera, let's use the column mounted shifter where you can pull that up with the top down view. We can go into drive and then use the end of it to go into the manual setting. So you can shift using the shifter. If you're towing or off-road, it's definitely very beneficial. Now for the rest of this screen, there are presets down below. So you can quickly get into all of this information, and you have a lot to go through. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, a bunch of general settings, and then even some features that you can go through. Now you'll notice too that we have the split screen. So all this information on the right side you can easily go through and still have info on this left side. You have a few different ways that you can go through all of that too. Now underneath that, we have the trailer braking system, all the four-wheel drive selectors, locking diff, and then a few different driving modes. So you have eco, tow and haul. You can get into normal, slippery. There's also two off-road settings, an off-road and then a rock crawl. We have all of the climate adjustments laid out nicely right in the middle, along with the heated seat controls. A few different settings for that center screen there, along with power, volume, and tuning. There's some auxiliaries on that passenger side, as well as some down below with tons of space for any items you'd like to place. And this truck even has 4 cup holders up front. Simply just slide that over if you need to use it, or if you need some more storage, you can slide it back. There's even pockets on both sides as well. And then plenty of space in the glove box in the middle, along with an auxiliary down below. And then there's even 2 glove boxes, one up top, Super Duty stamped underneath that, and then one at the bottom. Now we have all the dome lights as well as that rear sliding glass, sunglass holder, and then we have all these auxiliaries. So if you want to hook up lights, compressors, whatever you have, there's a factory location to put those. And as far as visibility goes, it's super easy to see. This is a long truck, but as far as the cab interior goes, you pretty much have no blind spots. And so now we'll put it into the manual setting from second gear. Here we go. Surprisingly, those are pretty responsive pushing on those buttons. Now this is not a truck you're going to go to every stoplight and take off that way. You're mainly using those for towing or if you happen to take this truck off the pavement. But it is nice if you need to use that with an empty truck, you have the option to do that. And we have the 10-speed automatic, which seems to be pretty good for these trucks. I don't think it's an overkill of gears. I think it's pretty beneficial as far as being able to gain a little bit more MPG. You're not buying this truck to save on MPG. You really need it for towing, and you need those extra gears to just haul its weight. This weighs over 7,000 pounds, and so it doesn't seem too shift happy or anything like that. It goes through the gears as you would expect. Very smooth feeling for this truck. And now that we are behind the wheel of this $70,000 F250, we are coming back to the parking lot again, where we will do another U-turn. And it's just something that you really get used to if you need to drive something like this. Now, if we had cars in the way, of course, it would be much harder. It has a pretty large turning radius, however, nonetheless. But it's really easy to drive. I really don't have any complaints with it. Let's give it another acceleration just in the normal setting. And we do have the different driving modes that we can use. Mainly, we're just using normal for right now. You have the tow and haul there, and if it was raining, you could use that setting. But it's a nice truck. It's very comfortable to drive. These upgraded 35-inch tires aren't loud at all, so it's nice. They're more of an all-terrain style tire. We have tons of storage. It's a great place to be. So if you need towing capabilities, this is a good Ford option to go with if you want that Godzilla motor as well. That's going to wrap it up though for this F250. Once again, huge shout out to Mooresville Ford for providing this truck for me today. Check out their website, give this video a huge thumbs up, and consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.